So literally, as I'm not recording, working on another video, um, that actually discussed a Forsaken skin problem issue that I have, they went ahead and made a statement talking about the game's music, which I do actually have a small problem with because I think some of the tracks in this game do not hail it at all to some of the more recent ones. Obviously, that's just how a lot of games evolve, especially in Roblox. That's where a lot of older themes and older music don't really compare to newer content. But Forsaken, I do actually have a small problem with because some tracks, such as like Dead Ringer, Creation of Hatred, 1X's Milestone theme, uh, Slasher's Milestone theme, some of these tracks just don't like they're just not good in comparison to some of the other ones. Like there's not really a good point to listen to like 1X's Milestone theme when I could just listen to his default theme, which in my opinion is just better to listen to. Ooh. But we're gonna read through this and then I wanted to talk about it because I think it's easier for me to kind of do it in a more natural situation rather than reading the script. So yes. Howdy, y'all. We've been seeing a lot of posts about our standard for music, mainly in regards to how tough of me and Ego are in regards to it. So we wanted to quickly address the problem, as not to leave y'all in the dark about why we do what we do. The following is a list of reasons of why we have a problem with OST bloat. Please take the time to read it if you have an issue with our reasoning. So a huge part of this stems from the recent thing of the Symbol Sixers chase theme being not necessary, like not accepted, so it got put as UST, and it was for a dumb reason called OST Oots. And it's been having a lot of people, me included, kind of upset about it because there's a bunch of other random skins that have chase themes and last man standings that kinda aren't super deserving of it compared to some other skins um that have quote unquote lesser quality that should get a chase theme. Um because not only would it help get more players to play those skins, but also would show appreciation for said skins in the first place. It's like Symbol Sixer isn't the prettiest skin, but I think it is a really cool skin, and especially because Pokemon has had such a huge impact on Roblox. Like, granted, Symbol is a Pokemon creepypasta rather over the actual unknowns. I do think that it still kind of classifies as being a decent reference um, for Roblox. But let's read through point number one. It's quite frankly too much music to manage. In the hypothetical scenario that we just let every skin have a chase things would very quickly get out of control. Well, there would be way too much music that needs to be monitored. Me and Ega review every track that goes in the game and work with the composer to make it fit it to the best of its capabilities. It so we need to bit it of order to the system to not make it overwhelming. I do agree with this, but to a certain standpoint. He's there. If ever Skin did get a chase theme, it would be too much. Like I've seen a lot of people compare to it to Die of Death recently. But the thing is, Die of Death always has been a far smaller game compared to Forsaken. But also, Die of Death also just has cooler skins, and Forsaken has a lot of ass skins at times, especially like with Cool Kid. Like Cool Kid still has decent skins, but like a lot of them aren't super worthy of getting the chase thing. Even Weirdly Strict isn't, and I love that skin a lot. It's not worthy of getting the chase thing, but there's that. But I agree with this to a certain extent because they also just give random skin chase themes. Vanity got a random chase theme when that came out. Vanity technically also has a random last man standing too. That technically I don't really feel like she should have. Diva Dio has a chase theme which is dumb. And I've seen a lot of people kind of defend it that it was a collab. But then there's a bunch of other collab killer skins that also are around the same quality as Diva Dio that do not have a chase theme either. So that's dumb. Um, and like none got a theme. Werewolf Nosferatu apparently is getting a theme, and it's just an okay skin. I don't think it's the highlight of his skins that he has, but that's getting a chase theme. Like you can literally, if you go into update log, we can literally go into update log. Like, you go up here, or Werewolf Nosferatu chase theme. Sunyan Ring. We cannot be real with this. Anyway, the base chase theme. While we do really get the principle of, oh, awesome, two cakes, we put a lot of time into making sure that the base chase theme is fitting as for a killer as it can possibly be. Forsaken is a story-driven game which is further added by its canon OST. To allow any skin to get a chase theme would make its base theme kind of pointless, which is kind of demotivating to throw those who work very hard to get it to the point of being improved. There are similar standards for skins, but those standards will never be as simply as strict for what we do for canon OST. I actually do agree with this point. All the base chase themes are really good, especially right now. Um, there's not a single one that I really would want reworked. I guess ready or not. Um, but it's still a really good chase theme. So yeah, that's a good point, I guess. Just because others do it, just because others do it doesn't mean we should. To put it simply, there are other games which do a song for every skin. Those games also tend to have way fewer skins currently released than most of what Forsaken drops per update. While it is mine and Ega's primary job to watch over music, it is a much more important job to us to ensure that our composers are doing well mentally. We cannot, good conscience, accept change which inherently will build to a culture which leads a composer getting attacked for reasons such as they didn't do as much work as others. They did a song someone else was working on and make this theme in this one and this one. And I kind of get this point, um, but I don't. Not because just because I'm dumb at interpreting it. I get it. They don't want to overwork the composers. I guess if that's what it's supposed to mean. Um, but also like once again, like yeah, like Die of Death, like I mentioned earlier, is a smaller game compared to Forsaken. But also has like better quality in those skins. So compared to Forsaken, which also has a bunch of skins that are kind of hot ass. Sorry, the, the album. The album, while currently going under a lot of problems, is still happening. We can't do too much music to the game as it will make it unbearable to add these songs to the album in addition to the stressors of everything else. Make multiple albums then. Like what? So if I had to guess, this is in regards to the official album and OST upload on music pages, except that all got hacked. So now there's some random dude re-uploading a bunch of the Damnation OST as well as AI songs. Um, but it, there was, an official album which did get released. Um, but like the account is hacked, so it's not. But just make multiple volumes. Like the first one, I think literally also got labeled as Volume One, and there's also a bunch of tracks that were missing on that album, even at the time of its release, which was like a year ago. Ooh, it's actually a year and like 2 months ago. Ooh, which um, which was far different than the OST that we have now, because obviously it's far bigger. But like back then, there was still a big OST, and there was also a bunch of tracks that were on that OST that were missing. I want to say like one of them, just off the top of my head, that was missing was like the geometry theme. Like, I don't think that was on there. But improper priority placement. A change like this would make it very difficult to prioritize more important tracks such as bass chase themes, LMS, milestone, and etc. As there would be a huge backlog of extra skin themes to cover here. Um, there's also a huge backlog of skins that need chase themes as well that don't have them, I think, like Stitch Hair and that one Prince Noli skin. Also Devesto. Devesto was supposed to get a chase theme, and he didn't. Not because the Die of Death collab was canceled, It just never was made. Um, so, well, like I get that, wanting to put a focus on these because technically, especially like right now with Azure, Azure is supposed to release with the default theme, the LMS with two time, as well as the milestone chase theme, and there's also a bunch of other skins that are also supposed to have chase themes and whatnot. So I kind of get that. I'm not wanting to put like a priority on like getting like a specific skins chase theme out over a default theme or something, but like focus on getting the characters' main stuff done first, and then like if you have spare time, or like if the composers want to do it, then let them work on the extra stuff if they want to. That's just my take. Obviously, I don't know how like um their dev server works or anything, or like how they work with the contributors. So yeah, there's only so many times you can milk a cow before you gotta move on. Forsaken is constantly working on new killers, which require their own music in addition to the killers released in the past. Yes, while more music doesn't seem like a problem now, the system me and Ego currently have is made to allow a future killer to be able to catch up in terms of chase the using a parent killer released at the start of the game. This is fucking false. Sixer has been out for like 8 months or something at this point. And he only has five chase themes in total. Meanwhile, Slasher technically has been out, even though he's been out since like the start of the game. He has more themes. Cool Kid also has more themes. Noli has more themes, and he is the first killer that technically was released outside of Base Killer. Is um Nosferatu doesn't even have a custom chase theme for any of his skins out. All like five that he has is, but still, um, there's no current way to catch up for some of these because most of these guys still get more themes in their updates than Sixer did, and Sixer and whatnot. It, now it is very little. Not every single skin gets a chase theme, but there's still a huge like there's more chase themes for all these other characters than there are for newer ones. And even though that they've had time to cook look around for them, like once again with Sixer, Sixer's been almost like out for so long. Um, yeah, he's got like 3 to 4 months left before he comes out. Where since he's been out for a year, and even now she only has like five views. And I think within that time, not only has Noli gotten more, but I think I want to say he even had more on release, but I don't think he did. I want to say he only had like three on release. He's, um, but since then he's built up a huge collection of themes, and he has like two Last Man Standing. He's, um, and they're missing no might get a theme once it gets reworked. But anyway, is the spontaneous creation of more music. Creates disproportionate track counts, which is not ideal. We are aware of some killers having less themes than others currently, Sixer, but that does not mean we are not working on fixing this imbalance. And then they just cancel the symbol theme. Cough, cough. Sus. Um, there will always be new skins, but trying to do something for all of them would put us behind. That's fine. Once again, I don't think Forsaken needs to be like Day of Death in that aspect, where every single skin needs to have a chase theme. But I do think that like some skins should get that. And if they mean a lot. I think, in my opinion, a skin that should get a chase theme is if they're not only a good reference, but also like an important skin to the platform. But at the same time, like this is also kind of dumb because there's a bunch of random skins that also just have chase themes that don't really need it. Sunyon Ring. we need some standards. If we just take any song that drops on our desk, it obviously will be the case where not many people like it, as they may not find the song that good. But if we don't accept just, but if we just don't accept any songs besides bass themes, people would definitely not like that either. Me and Ego as a stylish guidelines as to what deserves a theme, even while they are not ideal to everyone, they work well. Well, I will say, as much as I've been gassing up some of the Sixers theme, it's not the greatest piece of music in the game, especially of the Lexi tracks that we have gotten. I don't think it really hails in comparison to a lot of other ones. But at the same time, you also have the Vanity theme, Creation of Hatred, Dead Ringer, the Vanity Last Man Standing, Milestone 1X Chase theme, um, both Gasharpoon themes. There's like no quality in those songs, but they're like I get that they're old, but some of these are at least relatively new, or at least have been in the game for months, and nobody really likes them. Um, and they have not been addressed by any development whatsoever. So yeah, sorry, but the standard reason kind of sucks. It's shitty. Those are a few of the more obvious reasons, but there are minor ones that they would just make this too long of a statement. We really hope that y'all will be understanding with our reasoning, remembering that we are still human at the end of the day, and we have to try to make this system unsustainable long term. Okay. That is true. Ooh. That is one thing that I don't know if I've like kind of made it seem like, but yes, these are people in trying to get to a statement and get to a system that would work. It's where not only they can live their lives because some of these guys are probably in college and whatnot, and but also to make the game functional and still sustainable. Ooh. But at the same time, there's a bunch of examples that are already currently in the game that invalidate some of these statements and invalidate some of these things. I will say for the album, I can kind of get that because making albums does cost money. Yeah. So, as even though they could realistically create another album, there also could be issues with that. When it comes to licensing, and getting all the songs on there, but also producing it and pushing it out. It's but I don't know. A lot of these reasons just don't have a whole lot of weight. Oh, excuse me. A whole lot of weight behind them when there's a bunch of other skins in the game right now that invalidate some of these statements, such as None. None's a cool skin, but nobody was using None for months. It literally was only when None got a chase theme people actually started caring about the skin some more. But before that, you barely saw people even play the skin, let alone talk about it. It because it was a $400 skin. And I'm not saying that skins that are cost super cheap are bad, because I do use some skins that are super cheap. But a lot of people didn't really even care for it because at the time it didn't have that chase theme. It didn't have anything until it got a chase theme, and then people started caring about it. Um, And yeah, I will say the base chase theme, that's good because there's not necessarily a super bad base chase theme. You know, the only reason why a lot of people hate Ready or Not is because it's just on so many Cool Kid skins that nobody cares for it anymore. Or it's left its mark, or and it's not necessarily a good mark or, than um than it was back when it came out. Oops. There is too much music to handle at the time, at the moment, and I can get that. But there's also a bunch of music already currently in the game. Like Stunyon. I'm pretty sure there's only like 8 composers or something on Forsaken, and which is fine. They don't need to have some super composer heavy team because once again this game isn't super focused on music in every aspect. It's because it's not a rhythm game or anything. It's asymmetrical horror, quote unquote horror game, but there's also like a bunch of themes in here that are really random. Um, like yes, there's an imbalance, but also ooh, priority placement. This is kind of dumb because there's a bunch of meme skins that also have like chase themes. Hitbox accurate is technically a meme skin. That has a chase theme. Delirious, much as I like him, he also has his own chase theme. There's a few other skins too that I think are out there. I can't super remember them, but they also have chase themes. I don't super want to diss John Doe and One Eggs because they're funny skins. Um, but those also have chase themes. Um, but also get do out of house music as well. Oh, Flood Escape music is done out of house. Same with Narrator's theme is done out of house, and those are some of the best tracks in the game, by the way. The, I would like to clarify that. But also, oh yeah, once again, most standards completely invalidated by Deepania. Oh, by the way. But yeah, that's just my basic take on some of these statements. And I do agree with these points, and I do think these points are good to address. But there's just a lot of things currently in the game that just invalidate these. At least in my opinion. And there's just statements in the game that invalidate it and make this dumb. Um, but that's everything. Bye.